Hello, Mzansi. Welcome to it. It's GameON, brought to you, of course, by Hollywoodbets, and a special show we've got for you this week, including a special interview later on in the show with a legend wearing the number 10 out at the Orlando Pirates years ago. I'll leave it at that for now. Of course, we'll have Jerry Skosana, who will be talking all things local, and starting off with Shane McGregor talking what's happening out in England. And it's been an interesting start to the season. The Erling Haaland show continues, and there's been so much to talk about in that regard. But firstly, let's start with some good news. And, well, we don't say good news a lot when you talk about Manchester United. 3-0 win over a 10-man Southampton. Your thoughts on Manchester United?
It's a good win.
Yeah.
Any win's a good win. You know, playing against 10 men or not, it's a very good win. You know, they've got to turn it around sooner or later, but the jury's still out about them. We've got to just wait until they're consistent, getting the goals on a consistent basis. For me, I'll just hold on to that.
Well, as a United fan, I'll be smiling at that. And talking about good news for United fans, that is, the biggest upset of the season so far. Forest against Liverpool at home, and yeah, your thoughts on that game?
Moving on, can we talk about it? Yeah, you know, I said to you last week, best bet, you've got to put Liverpool in, unfortunately, and I went and listened. Momentum's not there, everything's not going forward for them, it wasn't working for them. And, you know, Forest, all credit to them. They did well, got the goal, and yeah, Liverpool couldn't come back.
We spoke about this break at the start of the season, and for teams like Liverpool and City who were rolling along nicely, it can disrupt the rhythm, so to speak, yeah?
Yeah, you got players coming from all over the world, you know, and that's the big problem. They're going to get in, they're going to have half a training session, a small little training session, and then straight into the game. It always affects you, but it's the same for all the teams, basically. Forest don't have that many players, so it did help them, but no excuses. Liverpool were not good enough on the day. Salah was a disappointment, put it mildly.
Brentford gets off to a good start against Manchester City, but as we mentioned at the start of the show, the Erling Haaland show just continues. Yeah,
you know, Haaland, what can you say about him? Scoring goals for fun. I'd rather have him in my team than playing against me, you know, so what a man. I mean, I don't care what people say. They say he can't play, he hasn't got the skill. It doesn't matter. He scores goals, and that's the main thing. That's what every team in the world is looking for, a goal scorer.
Yeah, goals weren't a problem with Villa up against Everton. We like those teams. We talk about them for different reasons. Villa for the improvement, Everton for just how they seem to keep getting to struggle as time moves along. 3-2 win for Villa. Exciting game, 5 goals scored, but Everton, up to this point, 0 points. 0 points,
you know, and with Everton again, they're scoring goals, but they're conceding so many. And, you know, the big problem there is they couldn't bring players in because they don't have the money to buy players. Villa, I mean, they're a decent team. So that's, you know, Everton must be quite happy. Even though they lost, they say, well, we got 2 goals against them. For Villa, conceding the goals is the problem, but it's going to be a long season for Everton supporters.
Arsenal supporters, happy with the derby win over Tottenham, away from home as well?
Away from home, a great result. You know, I said it would be a draw. It looked like it was going to be at one stage, but got the result, and well done. You know, whenever you win a derby game, it's a victory. And that shows you they can grind out those results slowly but surely, and that's a good sign for Arsenal.
Well, let's put the past in the past and look forward to the future. Games coming up, and there's some interesting ones here, but I want to start with you in Liverpool. I know that's close to your heart. It's always important to see our side responds from a shock defeat, especially at home last week. They're up against Bournemouth at home again this week.
Well, they've got a good record against Bournemouth, which is a good thing. I do think they'll bounce back this week again and get the result, and hopefully not give us all heart attacks again. But I think Liverpool will win that one.
From a goal-scoring point of view, creatively, was that a big problem for them? You said Salah was off, yes, I'll agree with you there. But as a whole team, were they struggling in that game creatively?
I think they just all struggled. It was one of those games that basically the front line were off form. It's simple, nothing what they could do. They tried, but they just couldn't score. So it was one of those games, write it off and start again.
United fans, myself included, will be hoping the good times keep rolling on. Away to Crystal Palace, always one of those teams where you don't know what you're going to get at Palace. On their day, they could rock you.
Exactly. Palace is one of those teams that can upset anyone. But I think, you know, with Man United having the momentum going into this one, I think I'll get the victory in.
Game of the weekend, or game of the week, the one everyone's talking about, of course, the two sides that entertained us the most over the last couple of seasons. Best football, most entertaining football, goals galore, skills galore, and a roster of good players. Manchester City against Arsenal. Let's get into this game now.
A game I want to watch. I definitely will be watching it. This is going to be a cracking game. if you look at the history, there's been a lot of draws in this game. You know, they keep it tight because they know exactly how they play against each. Too much to lose at this early stage of the season, and I think it'll be very tight up there. So a draw for me.
For Arsenal, after the loss a couple of games ago, to bounce back in the derby against Tottenham, away to Tottenham, how important is that ahead of this game? And also the defence. It's not necessarily something people praise a lot over the years, but over the last couple of years, you and I have spoken about it, they've improved drastically in their defence. How important will that be in dealing with the Holland show?
Well, obviously it's very important, and they're actually very solid at the back, you know, and that's the big thing. That's been the big difference between them. They haven't been conceding a lot of goals. But they haven't been scoring as much as they normally do.
Sure.
But they haven't been conceding, and that's half your battle won. If you don't concede, you're not going to lose.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's vital that happens. But as I said, you know, with this game, so much importance in this game, and it's early season. It's still so much importance. I think the draw on the card.
Now, many will be wondering, for City, do you pick up any weaknesses at all, offensively, defensively?
Well, both sides will be looking at that. You know, City will say, well, how do we break them down? And we all know how City play. And people now are starting to learn how to play against City.
Yeah.
You know, so for them, against the Arsenal team, you know, Haaland's going to be picked up and closely monitored. That is for sure. But they know how to do it, and they know how to deal with it. As I say, I can't split these two teams.
Can't split them. Maybe you at home can, but we certainly will be looking forward to the fixtures that will be coming up out in England over the next couple of days. Thank you so much to Shane McGregor, and let's enjoy what's happening out in England. On the other side of this little short break, we have Jervis Kosana. We talk about what's been happening locally with the PSL having officially started and gotten underway.
Check these guys. Let's show them how it's done. I see it. Let's have a
your feet like this.
Let's see how you play.
Move your feet like this.
Welcome back, as it was officially game on in the start of the 2024-25 season. And what it started was out in Bloemfontein. Of course, all eyes were on what was happening out in Bloemfontein. Full house. Of course, Gallants up against Kaizer Chiefs. And it's the sort of game you want to start the season with in front of a full crowd. And everybody wanted to know what's going to happen with the Bloemfontein crowd, of course. And now they've got football back in Bloemfontein. And everybody interested in Chiefs and whether they're improving. Dramatic game, lovely game, entertaining game, lovely atmosphere. 3 goals scored, Chiefs come from behind, they win 2-1. 2 youngsters coming through from Kaizer Chiefs as well, Uvilakazi and company, and Baspanile up.
Yes, I think for me, into nje engijabulise kakhulu, it's the atmosphere ebesiyimisa because uma ubuka like ekuqaleni, i-Chiefs ibingekho ku top 8. So yes, Pirates was more dominant ngama supporters. But I would really give credit to Chiefs supporters for what they did last week at Bloemfontein. But yes, the game itself as well, I can't go too much. I can't give that much credit to Chiefs. Yes, they won. But for me, there were things that I had to look at and say maybe there is still a lot that the Nabe must do in Chiefs. So yeah, well, they won. But if nothing happened to a red card to Gumolongwane, Marumo Gallants, I don't know if Chiefs are going to be getting the 3 points. But yeah, congratulations to them for a good start. But in terms of the play of what we want to see going forward, there is still a lot to improve.
Vilakazi, 2 youngsters, 20 and 18, coming through and big game, first game of the season, big crowd, all eyes on this game, and coming through with big moments with these 2 beautiful winners. Or goals, I should say.
Out of the 2 of them, ngifuna ukunika i-credit kakhulu kuShabalala. Uma ubheka lesikhathi badlala ne-Yanga in like Toyota Cup, he was the person that was criticized. Even myself, I wasn't happy with his showboating.
That's true, yes.
And at the same field, the same coach, under pressure coach, he puts the youngster in, and the youngster turns everything on. So that's basically that you can always give credit to the coach for what he has spoken with the youngster, because there were a lot of criticism in terms of his showboating and doing ezinye izinto zasekasi. Uyabona ikasi football le ithandwa abantu kakhulu. But at the end of the day, you want to see the team getting results, and that's what the boy gave to Chiefs. What a goal! Really, that was something spectacular for me from a 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, that was lovely.
Now, I have to speak about Polokwane City. Last season, their first season back, they qualified for MTN8. They played in the MTN8, sure, but Pashayama Zulu 2-1 to start off the season now. Uthini Polokwane City?
Yes, credit to Polokwane City. Kodwa angazi if mhlawumbe ngiyachifta kancane, but iPolokwane City mayincede mayibonge, not ukunceda, mayibonge ugoalkeeper. Yeah, angisho Uganda iye yambonga goalkeeper when they were playing Bafana which is Mr. Mota. So I think that was the same problem that happened to goalkeeper. You look at the like optional time, Howler in terms of the blunder he made, and Polokwane City capitalized on that. Yes, maybe not a good spell for Velimota, but I hope he's a captain, he's a leader. He needs to have a look at himself before anything. But Polokwane City, yes, 3 points at home, that's what you're looking for. And Amazulu Vele, they are always having problems in away games. I don't know, they need to look at that as well.
Tshwane Derby, Sundowns, the Super Sport. Many thought Sundowns were struggling in the MTN8, but the Sundowns really appear. Who game against the Super Sport? Sundowns, is the Sundowns of old or new, more dangerous Sundowns?
New Sundowns. Kodwa le inkinga lezi ezikhona ku-Sundowns, they still gonna come out. I'm worried. You know, they were like top players that you cannot always roll out. You know, they were not even like on the bench, you know. So lokho kuzobonakala, but also into engiyithandile ngoManqoba Mngqithi ushilo ukuthi he cannot put a 34-year-old, which is Thembazwane, ukuthi I'm exhausted, the season is still long, they've given him a contract extension. So for yena ukuthi amdlalise ngama-second half, for mina kube nomehluko, you know.
He
changed the game.
Yes, he did.
You know, when he came on, you look at the back pass he gave to the goal scorer or the new Ikram Reina. So it was a good thing. But for me, Nice Sundowns, they still have to go deep and look at themselves because they've got quality, but there are problems that are happening inside the camp.
Now, Polokwane City, by Makesi, in the games to look forward to. How important is this for Makesi? How tough will this be for them?
I wish I can go and attend that game. I really wish I can go and attend that game. That would be a nice game.
Sure.
Remember, everybody in Polokwane, that would be like not Polokwane as a whole, but the whole of Limpopo. You know, that would be a good thing. There's a lot of following for Imakesi and with Batula promotion, and obviously Polokwane City is doing well. So it's a game that I would really love to go there. But yeah, I think we might have a draw out of that game.
Super Sports, they stumbled, but played well for 60 minutes against Sundowns. Stumbled though in losing, but then Royal AM. How do you see this? Is an interesting game for me.
Super Sport to win.
Super Sport to win.
Super Sport to win.
Is Just Bay also got off to a good start? Away to Chippa United.
Well, good on that, but you know, somehow you look at football holistically. And then you don't look at what is happening now. Look at the behavior of the team and individually, so of the players, and then you take it further in terms of how are they going to perform the whole season.
Now, with what looked a good, entertaining game against Kaizer Chiefs for Marumo Girls, when they're playing now at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They're away from home this time against the Golden Arrows. What did you make of Marumo firstly against Chiefs, and how do you see the game about Golden Arrows?
Well, for me, an adult team, a lot of overage players, over 30.
Lots of players over 30.
Over 30, but I think maybe somehow Dance needs to come with a mechanism of how is it gonna rope in the youngsters. Maybe for game against Kaizer Chiefs, he did it because he needed the whole experience and it's their first game. You know, some of these players there, I was looking at, I think the defender, Matiane, who was like, who had a long spell with Golden Arrows, and then he went also now to a Baroka. When they lost in the playoffs, he was still there, coached by Dance. Now they've robbed him to Marumo Gallants. So those are the players that maybe Dance was opting for because they were playing a good team in Kaizer Chiefs. So let's see how they're gonna rope in youngsters, because you cannot put too much on these old age players because the season is going to be long. Time is not on their side. So bring youngsters like what Nabi is doing. Balala, Vilagazi, with all the experience, he also has to do that with Marumo Gallants.
Well, exciting times as things are rolling along nicely here in the local league, as well as what's happening out in England. Well, let's end this segment of the show, that special interview with the man that retired the jersey number 10 out at Orlando Pirates, on the other side of this. Welcome back. Now, we promised you a special interview with a legendary person who's given so much to the beautifully South African game as a player, as a coach, as a club owner, also on the international stage. That, of course, is the Honorable Dr. Jomo Sono. Dr. Sono, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And in the interest of time, let's get straight to the first question. Your love for the game, where did it begin?
I think the love for the game began in my mother's womb.
That early?
Yeah, that early, because I've been in football ever since, from the age of 8, if I may remember. And the love of football, to be honest, also started with my father, because my father used to play for Pirates. And then my uncle also played for Pirates. I played for Pirates. So it's something which has been in the family all these years. It's been football and football and football.
Now, it's interesting that you mentioned your family members, past family members in Orlando Pirates, whom, of course, you also represented and are very much renowned as a star player for the club in your days. When you did start playing professionally, was it always going to be Pirates? Or maybe I should ask it differently. Why Pirates for you?
No, I didn't choose Pirates. I didn't choose Pirates. I was selling, Orlando Stadium, and Pirates was playing. I was very young. And they were short. Under 16 of Pirates were short of players. And they asked me to come in and play because they were short. And I said, okay, I'll help you. If you buy a tray for my apples, then I'll play. And I played. And it was unbelievable. It was packed at the stadium. If I recall, they were playing Roca Swallows. And we were playing against Orlando Happy Stars, very popular team in those years. And I came on and I scored 2 goals. And because there was a big crowd, and everybody started knowing that the boy who scored 2 goals is Skara's son. And Skara was very popular. He was the captain of Pirates.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it all started from you selling
apples, yeah.
Apples, and saying, if you buy my apples, I'll...
At the stadium, yeah.
Now, obviously, you went
I was a bargainer.
Yeah, it's clearly. From a young stage, you're a businessman, man. And obviously, you went from playing, I don't even know if I can call that humble beginnings, but let's call it that, to playing with great players. And by great players, I'm talking the greatest in the world. Pele comes to mind. What then, if I may ask you, is the difference between what we would deem a good player like Mzansi locally and a great player on that stage globally?
To be honest, I was very, very lucky, and thanks to God that I managed to go overseas at a tender age. I mean, I went to Portugal, I was 17, to go and play for Sporting Lisboa. And they saw me playing in Portugal. And at the later stage, when they started the new league in America, they came and they took me from South Africa because they were looking for players from each and every country in the world. Yeah. And I was lucky that I was chosen as one of the players to go there. It could have been anybody, And I always say to my players that the bridge of footballers, is too narrow. You know, there's 6 million who are trying to cross that bridge, and not all of us will be able to cross the bridge. There are those who are lucky, there are those who work hard, and there are those who are more skillful than anybody, but they can't go through that bridge because they say it's very small.
Now, clearly there were lots of lessons learned in your time, even going abroad, from a footballing point of view and a business point of view as well. You came back as a player who now wanted to own his own club and be a club owner. Where does that idea come from?
It started when I was on a plane coming back home from New York. And next to me, I was seated to one of the Colonel Sanders's people. And we're just chatting about South Africa, politics, racism, and so forth. And we ended up discussing our business. And he told me that, no, they're looking to open a franchise in the Black Townships. And I said, I would be interested, you know, because I think I'm black enough.
Yeah.
You know? So we had a chat, and I ended up opening the first KFC in Soweto. And I started studying about how to own a football club. You know, because in all honesty, the idea was to own Pirates.
Oh.
That's where it started from. And the supporters wanted me to own Pirates. But now the problem was that there was me, Banda, Mashawa. All three wanted to own Pirates. So we were divided. So in the end, I had a chat with the late 60 Mali. I said that because we as players, we can't own Pirates, because during that time, Pirates was a mess. Pirates was a mess during that time. How we survived playing for Pirates, I don't know. Pirates was really a mess.
Yeah. I have to ask you now, because you've also coached on the international stage as well. How far have we come as a footballing nation on the continent, internationally, as well as club football? When you look at also a coach like Rulani, who, for a young South African coach, has reinvented the game in his own way and is taking it far. And it seems like now he's going to take it even further. Just from a coaching point of view, you know, Peter's done the same. How far have we come?
I think we've gone far, to be honest. You know, compared to where we come from. Yes, we're 96, 98, we were doing well. 2002, we're doing well. And then we had that slump.
Yes.
A very bad slump.
Yeah.
We slump and slump. But now, since we have managed to export our coaches, it's not only Pizzo, no Rulani, there's the boy Fadlu. He's also,
David as well, yes.
He's also doing well. So I think that generation emerge. It is good to see this generation going out of the country to go and coach outside the country, because in future, I can tell you now, it's them who will coach the national team. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yes.
With their experience, it all depends in Dabazemali, you know. South Africa can they afford these guys?
Sure.
These guys, they talk millions. We'll send a million. It's not going to be easy.
Well, Dr. Son, I'd like to firstly say sadly we've run out of time, but thank you for your time to join us here on GameON. Thank you for your contribution to the game as a player, a coach, a club owner, and just a lover of the beautifully South African game. And, well, we are always grateful that you're still around and we still learn from you.
Thank you very much. But uzibhize zonke mara usho ukuthi bus driver,
kid manager.
thank you.
Okay.